Palpatine. Right now, so before we actually do this, so I've ticked the go live button, and there is a link to view it on YouTube. And it says we recommend not viewing it on YouTube while you're on it, but there we go. It's working. It's working. Cool. I'll close that now.
Good.
All right. So what I'm going to do then, I'm just going to go there and copy that. Copy that address. And I'm going to go here. And I'm just going to put this in here so that Brad can watch.
Oh. I have so many lips now.
More than two?
Yes. Food and drink used to just vanish into the mess of hair that was my mouth. It's like Cousin It, but only in one very particular area.
It's Cousin It. There we go. All right, cool. See, look at that. Look at that. That's the YouTube link. It's live. We've been live for a minute so far, so whoopsie, but yes. Cool. Okay, so this is working. This is a good replacement for Hangouts, and that's my cat. So yeah.
Excellent. So it's not just a two-person podcast. There is, in fact, a cat as well joining in.
Yes, there is a small feline person as well who will probably place himself on my lap. He's looking menacingly at Big Red at the moment, and when I say Big Red, I mean this dude.
Literally red.
Literally red. Oh no.
Did you just Angry Bird bomb your cat by accident?
I did. Not on purpose. He bounced out of the container, and my cat has now bolted over to look at himself in the mirror.
I was just moving my Angry Bird, so I loaded into a giant slingshot and
Yeah. How else do you move Angry Birds?
You're just following the rules.
Yeah. No. There's very few rules in the game of Angry Birds, but one of them is that you must
fling.
So apparently Angry Birds Movie 2 is actually out this week. This week or next week or something, but the preview looks really funny.
I didn't even know that it was like being marketed, so that snuck up on me out of nowhere.
I saw the preview, and then I saw the preview last week, and then this week I saw someone at the premiere in Hong Kong.
I thought I saw a poster, and I was like, oh, that'll come sometime in the next 18 months. I didn't realize it was out. That's mad.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now that we've given Brad something to edit out.
Excellent. Let's podcast.
Who are we kidding? This is all just going to stay in. Here comes Andy. Come on.
The cat has forgiven you. Or
he forgives very fast. No, he forgives very fast. Usually. Anyway.
Just wait till there's a bird of his own.
Yeah, well. I'm trying to think if that's happened. I don't think that has actually happened yet. There we go. But he is here, ready to purr into the microphone. Like anything else, that can be quite annoying.
Make a background noise. That's fine.
Yeah, a little bit of background noise, just so that. Hey, come on. A little bit of background noise, just so that it gives us something to do, something to edit around. Okay. Shall we go?
Yes.
All right, let's go. It's already 9:20, so yeah. All right. And I am going to put Andy down on the ground, in fact, because it's moderately annoying having a cat on your lap while you're doing a podcast. Right. Okay. G'day. Welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. We're bringing you Transformers news from around the world in Australia. Something like that. I don't know. This week in Edited, I don't know. We are recording episode 197. We are recording live on Saturday, the 10th of August, 2019. This week, we'll have more to talk about on the HasLab Unicron. Things have gotten a little bit interesting, especially if you're in Australia. There's more Studio Series figures on the way, and there's a whole lot of new bots coming. I think we've also got a bunch of Siege figures to look at as well. All and more is coming up after this.
Theme song.
Yeah, well, it does actually strike me that we could actually play a video off the screen share computer and just put it straight in.
Using the majestic power of StreamYard.
StreamYard.
Okay, just saying it, eventually we don't have to pay for it. We'll just get sponsorship. It'll be fine.
No, that's right. Yeah, no, that's the intention. That's why I'm leaving that little logo up in the top right corner.
It's a happy duck.
No, notice us, please. Notice us. No. Okay, all right. That's enough of that. And let's assume that the intro is done and dusted and has been faded back to me saying, "Hi, I'm Jason. Joining me this week, we have actually just a two up this week. We have Ash coming to us from Tasmania. For a minute, I can't remember if you're in Launceston or Hobart."
I am in Launceston. I'm as far north as I can be from being this far south, and it has been a frigid wasteland recently. Absolutely petrifying cold.
Sydney actually had its hottest, coldest day of the year this today as well. It was a top of 14 degrees.
It's hottest, coldest day of the year?
No, it's coldest day of the year.
Okay, how cold was it then?
14 degrees. Top of 14. And I'm guessing that's a balmy 14 for you down there.
We had a top of 12, but we just had winds that cut through. It was horrible.
So we got the same winds up here as well. Like they've been shredding the East Coast, cancelling flights, everything. I'm happy. Like, so last night we attempted to record the podcast last night, just technical issues, which is probably a good thing because while I'm sitting here and you can't hear much except probably the sound of this dude purring into the microphone. While we attempted to do that last night, all right, you can get down. While we attempted to do that last night, the only other thing that you could hear in the background was whoosh.
I'm usually pretty good at guessing noises, but I don't know what those noises are supposed to be.
Yeah, no, it was the wind. The wind
was wind. Okay.
Really
somebody was like testing some kind of science fiction weapons like outside your door or something like boom. Was like,
so I would hazard a guess that whoever is in control of Sydney's weather control machine has lost control. So it is kind of a sci-fi.
Timmy the intern at it again.
It's at least it's at least a mini series. I wouldn't go to a full season, but yeah,
right. Web series at the very most.
Yeah. Cut it into 6 minutes. Put a top and tail of 2 minutes of constant animation. Around it to 10 minutes. Produce about 30 minutes of footage.
Yeah.
Add some CGI, and you've got Stargate Origins. But yeah,
fair enough.
So we're doing a Transformers podcast, aren't we? So we are talking about what we've been up to this week. We've been talking about the weather. I am in under 12 hours. I am embarking upon a trip to Birmingham to attend TF Nation next weekend. So I will not be here, but I will be living it up, sitting in the Hilton Bar in Birmingham next to a bunch of Transformers fans and a bunch of Transformers
obviously you need to host a live podcast from there.
So if I do, like it will be terrible. Like it'll be noisy. It'll be noisy. There won't be. I won't have a laptop. Like it would just be ridiculous.
So it's a rock concert. Rock concerts are noisy, but they're good.
Nobody hosts podcasts at rock concerts.
Well, maybe they should. Maybe that's something we can look forward to. It's okay. Just when you're there, just find Thew or Optobotamus or just literally some homeless guy on the street, ask him what he thinks of the Unicron situation. Boom, guest stars. It's what we need. It's how we're going to thrive.
I can probably get Thew to do it.
Even just for J-Dog. Australians.
No, I met him last year. He's a lovely guy.
There you go. Good.
I believe we're Pokemon Go friends.
Oh, that's how you know you've connected with somebody.
Yes.
When, dude, have you got a Golduck? I need a Golduck.
Yeah. So we're. I think the intention was that I could bring a Kangaskhan from Australia, and I could pick up a Mr. Mime. But then, I haven't played Pokemon for a long time, but Kangaskhan's were not very well distributed in Australia. But Mr. Mime was fucking everywhere.
That reminds me of actually sitting on a couple of Tauros, which is apparently the American exclusive.
It is.
Yeah. I've got a couple of those. Maybe I should start eBaying them.
Maybe. I don't know if Niantic will crack down on people eBaying stuff as much as they did in Ingress. But yeah,
just pay me in Transformers. It's fine. Tell Thew I accept Legends figures.
That's the best thing. I shall let him know. Send your friend code and we'll see how you go. So yeah, no. Look, I met a lot of I met a lot of prominent YouTubers last week, and other guys in the community. Like I met Maz and 60 and Soundwave 1980 and some other boys like that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to going back and meeting more people this year. And like last year, there was this distinct event on the Saturday night. It was the Stan Bush concert. This year there's no concert, but we do have a script reading for season 4 of Animated.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I will be refreshing what happened in Animated season 3 on my way over to TFN because it's been a long time
on the plane.
Yeah, I've got plenty of things to watch on the plane. Yeah, so yeah, that's going to happen, and it's going to be fun. So yeah, I will try to record a little bit of stuff and see if I can stitch it together to maybe just be a video that we show during the podcast next week, or yeah, something like that. We'll see how we go.
I dig it. I look forward to it. Give us some content.
Well, here's some content for you.
Oh wow, leaping straight into it, and boom,
let's go straight into it.
Straight into it with the fancy screen effects. But for those who aren't watching, what is this? It's EB Games website, but it's War for Cybertron Unicron.
So EB Games surprised everyone this week by coming out of almost nowhere, except for the fact that it was foreshadowed a day before by Griff from Ozformers. Coming out of nowhere with a pre-order for War for Cybertron Unicron. Now, we've talked about Unicron a lot on the podcast and a lot on just social media and in Facebook in general.
Wars have.
Yeah, so the Unicron situation is that HasLab, HasLab is Hasbro's like collector-centric crowdfunding platform. HasLab has a Unicron figure that is enormous, and they are looking for 8,000.
In fact, it is 27 inches tall, which, if you're me at this moment, then hello, you sexy devil. But I actually have a tape measure here, and I've just measured out 27 inches because, you know, I have the power to do so. And then I've sat it on my desk, and then I've looked up and gone, no, I have to go backwards. But even then, like, you know, I mean, for people that are listening, you won't be able to see what I'm doing, but I'm holding what 27 inches look like, and this is every fisherman's dream. Like when your hands
This is a post-watershed podcast. It's okay. Ash is holding 27 inches in his hands, everyone.
But this is every fisherman's dream, and you're like, it was this
You won't
big.
believe what happens next.
I swear it was this big, but this is like, I'm not a short dude, but I'm like holding this, and it's like up to my hip.
Yeah, no, he's
I knew it was big, but like
the size of a small child. Unicron has basically always been a petulant small child, so like, why not?
He's the size of a large child. He's massive. It's obscene. But you know, the interesting thing is obviously it's on EB Games website. Technically, it's been one of those things that's going to be distributed via Zing. We have a release date that says.
No. Let's talk about this, right? Because Hasbro was trying to crowdfund 8,000 people to support this. Now. They are straight up not going to make it. They're at like 2,600, and there's 3 weeks to go. We're halfway through. They're not going to do it.
Anyone who is anyone understands that because it's exclusively available to people in the US, you are looking at subsets that go from you need 8,000 people that A, give a shit about Transformers, B, have enough expendable income to look at something that costs that much and say, yeah, I'll do it. And then C, want a Unicron in their life. So, I mean, it's sort of like it drills down.
D, have a wing of their house available to hold it.
Have a private wing available to house this monstrosity. Because the thing is, even though it's 27 inches tall, with the wings, it's so wide. But, yeah, 8,000. So I think that's why we're starting to see it crop up. Like, have you noticed it's not just me either? It's starting to crop up on all of the like different websites where you can order it, with people talking about we have pre-order opportunities.
So that's right. Like, so Hasbro's faced a lot of criticism from. I don't know what just happened, but I think one of my lights, its battery just died.
So you're slightly less illuminated.
I'm a little bit more in the dark than I was a few minutes ago.
He's a bit dimmer than he was before, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. My dimmer switch has been left on. So
regarding this, I think it's reaching a point now that, you know, Hasbro, Takara, HasLab, as they call it, I think they're starting to sort of slowly open the gates, because the biggest thing was people saying, could this possibly happen just in the Americas?
No, it can't. The answer is straight up no. People have been harassing Hasbro since day one. Give me the opportunity to buy this. I'm overseas, and Hasbro has just gone. If it gets funded, we'll look at ways of making it available internationally. Now, I think what's happened in the background is Hasbro has just gone, holy shit, this isn't going to get funded. How do we make sure that we can actually have 8,000 people?
Just not opening it up to the Eastern nations like Japan.
Also, they did open it up to Japan because they listed it on Takara Tomy Mall, and that was the first non-US place that it was listed.
Correct.
Now, once it made it through to Takara Tomy Mall, it started appearing in lots of other places as well. However, they started appearing with a premium attached, and while the original price is $575 places like Big Bad Toy Store and TF Source started listing it for $800. Now, there was a good reason for this as well. Those companies were taking on the financial burden of actually having to pay $575 at the end of August, but not charging you for it. You could pay it off, and you could handle it. You could pay for it when it shipped in 2021. Now, what is happening here, at least in EB Games' case, because I've actually spoken to EB Games about this, if you pre-order it off the EB Games website, which I have, I've submitted a pre-order. You pay $100.
Okay,
that's your pre-order price. You pay the rest when the figure is released, if it's released, and if it doesn't get done, if it doesn't happen, you get your $100 back.
It's just more that's the stinger. See, I've had other things similar in EB Games where I'm like, here's this collector's edition that's price hasn't been announced yet. For $100, you can have the deposit, and then it hits, and it's like $900.
No. Look directly at the thing that's on screen. But that's a price. It's $848. I've agreed.
All the fact that I can't do the usual EB Games equivalent of, I just want to pay off $20 every other week if I could, please. Just lay by for it.
That's an interesting question. Someone in the discussion group did actually say today, can I go in and pay it off? I don't know.
But yeah,
I would say if you go into your local store and talk to the manager and just see what they'll offer you, they probably will let you, because there is a price. Now, the other interesting thing about this is actually the cheapest way on the planet to get this figure outside of being in America and getting it from HasLab.
Outside of actually sneaking into Hasbro headquarters and just stealing it.
This too, but that $848.
Yes.
Well, I will in prison time. The $848.
The more that we talk about this, the fact that you've pre-ordered, now I'm sitting here going,
why haven't you pre-ordered it, Ash? You've got a room.
Well, it's more like I have a room.
Don't you also have a high table a high chair that you're probably not going to be using in a year's time?
You were going to ask if I'm going to put this in one of the baby carriers and see if I can put it on my front and carry it around?
Can you put Unicron in a papoose?
Possibly, but yeah, I mean, for $848, it does
I just want to make special mention here. Like I'm saying, this is the cheapest pre-order outside of Hasbro, because $848 Australian dollars is literally $575 converted to Australian. That's it. I mean, there's no markup. There's no extra.
This is definitely not a placeholder price. They've said we are stuck on this. It will not change. They're not just going to go shipping error. It's going to actually be $1,500. No,
when you submit the order, it says your order is $848. So look, a lot can happen between here and here in 2021, right? The Aussie dollar might crash. We don't know.
This one. Interesting.
We don't know. There might be something going wrong with that. But right now, if this was to go through and get funded and nothing untoward happen, $848. So in effect, in a year's time, $748. In fact, because you've already paid off the $100 deposit.
Very good point. Yeah, interesting.
So start saving now. Put the $100 down and see what happens.
Stop trying to make me justify it. Like, I'm looking at this from the perspective of, if I was buying a third-party combiner, I'm paying $100 a limb. There's 4 limbs. I'm possibly paying more for the chest. I'm already up to like $550. That's not 27 inches tall. It probably does not have 50 points of articulation. It probably doesn't
turn Megatron into Galvatron.
It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't even turn into a planet. This is a dangerous conversation. So, There's a lot of
can it make the conversation slightly more dangerous?
It depends. Is the next topic going to be, and if you do it in the next 10 minutes, it's only going to cost you $700?
No, but what I am going to do.
Good. Oh yes, excellent.
I'm going to throw to one of my favorite stories this week, which is
the fact that we've actually seen someone physically transform it, but it's not your average transformation video. This is the classiest transformation video I've ever seen.
This is the best thing because this guy actually works for Takara Tomy.
He's worked for them since 1986. He's been there for a long, long time.
Yeah. But also, can we just talk about how cool he is transforming the prototype of Unicron while wearing a tuxedo and sunglasses? Yeah. I mean, like, he clearly can't see what he's doing.
No. So, obviously, for the listeners at home, what we're watching is a very dapper gentleman. He's wearing sunglasses inside. He's wearing a tuxedo with a little bow tie. And he's in sepia tone, all right? It's not full color. He's in sepia tone, probably because Unicrons are just a test shot. But it's him physically transforming this massive, massive dude. He puts together the stand, he sits the planet on it, and then he starts the conversion from planet to the destroyer.
I think it's also worth pointing out that Unicron even transforms the way he did in the cartoon.
Yeah, the fact that the video is interspersed with clips from the movie of him transforming. And so when you see the massive section of his elbow come out and his hand twists and it emerges, the dude's physically doing that on the figure. Like, yeah. It's not just a dude who turns from a ball into a humanoid planet-eating robot. It's a dude who turns from a planet into a planetoid-eating robot the same way he did in the cartoon.
It's great.
And for the people listening at home, that's me clapping my hands. That's what that sound is.
It is utterly amazing. And we're done. Oh, and he forgot Unicron has to have his horns up. But yeah.
That's the thing. I love that we find out that he actually has articulation in his horns. So technically you can angle them down into like, a heavy metal cover. And then you can angle them up into a slightly different heavy metal cover.
Now, there's one other thing that I would like to call attention to out of this video, which is, have you ever seen a cooler photo than that?
What, just a man casually sipping a cup of tea next to
no. A man in a tuxedo sipping a cup of tea next to a prototype of Unicron.
But Unicron's mid-pimp swagger. Like, literally 1 foot forward, one hand raised. He's mid-strut.
Unicron wants that tea. I mean, Unicron eats everything in his path, so why would he not want the tea as well?
At one point, I considered sparing your pathetic teapot, but now you will witness its dismemberment.
Indeed, you shall. So, Ash, you're going to put a pre-order in?
I don't want to say no, but let's be honest. I'm pretty sure.
I don't want to say no, but no.
Just let me check. Is my wife within earshot? I might be able to get away with it. But yeah, if it's coming out in 2021, I mean, you mentioned that the payment obviously comes as a lump sum once it's confirmed. That's when it hits its crowdfunding goal?
No, actually. So the payment is, so you actually don't have to pay the rest. I'll just get rid of the cat. You don't have to pay the rest. Now he's in the weed. You don't have to pay the rest until it's ready to ship.
Really? So I could have even longer than like the crowdfunding goal. All right. Well, yeah, I'm about to say, if it's 2021, I have more than 12 months to start putting some cash away.
Yeah. So
we've just had a tax return end. I have another tax return before then.
So here's the thing, right? This is not a crowdfund support. This is a pre-order. And so it's a deposit on the pre-order, and you pay the balance when the pre-order is done, right? So
there does come with a caveat saying that it's not yet in there, and it, if it does not get cleared for production, you will receive a full refund. So it's not even a gamble.
No, it's not. No, not at all. Now,
I know that there were some websites that said there's a non-refundable deposit, and I was like, can you not?
Look, honestly, as far as Unicron goes, I haven't seen any website say that it's a non-refundable deposit. I have seen, I think it was either Big Bad Toy Store or TF Source. Their default thing when you say, hey, pre-order and put it down, the default says pre-orders are non-refundable, but it did say in the body of the description, you will get a refund if it doesn't go.
Okay, good.
So,
Because that was something I noticed.
Yeah, they have been playing fair. Now, the other thing is to the question of whether or not this pre-order counts as a backing for the crowdfund. It does. So,
good.
So if you pre-order from EB Games, then that is one more towards Hasbro's 8,000 crowdfund goal. Now, obviously, it's a little bit different because they're taking a pre-order via Hasbro rather than taking the crowdfund via HasLab. Now, what's going to happen is if you pre-order and then you duck over to the HasLab website, your pre-order will not affect the total that is shown on that website. Okay. And EB Games tells me that they will not even tell Hasbro how many pre-orders they've got until the end of the month. So, on August 31st,
what we need to do is wait to see if there's like a massive jump courtesy of EB Games. I mean, I'd assume that this is also, would it be in GameStop stores in the US or no?
No, I don't believe it is. I think this is purely an international thing. We are seeing this crop up on all the international websites. All of the American websites seem to put a premium on it, which I think means that they're just going to fund the crowdfund for you. But all of the international websites seem to be taking pre-order deposits, which they're doing through Hasbro. So EB Games is in contact with Hasbro, and this was done in consultation with Hasbro Australia. So it's an official thing. Now, what I think this also means is going to happen is that, let's say that the crowdfund gets to 3,500, right? We won't know how many pre-orders they've taken from international retailers. They're not gonna notch up the number of pre-orders on the HasLab website. All that's going to happen is at the end of August, they're going to turn around and say we're going to make it or we're not. And so they might not they might not make it to 8,000 of the crowdfund, but they might go, you know what, we've opened up international pre-orders and we got to whatever we got to, and there's enough demand that we're going to make it. Like they might get to 6,000. Who knows?
Well, that's the interesting thing that people need to be aware of here. Like, obviously, it's a crowdfund thing, but this isn't Hasbro and Takara using something like Kickstarter with defined rules that if you don't make it, you don't make it. This is their platform. Okay, they've made the rules so far. They have the ability to change them should they do. If they get 7,900 backers, there's nothing stopping them from going, close enough, fine.
Yeah, we would anyway.
If they get 4,000, they go, we're going to do it, but it's going to be a limited run. There's nothing stopping them. It's their platform, their rules. So no doom and gloom from me. I reckon we're going to see Unicron in some way, at some point. Either way, we'll talk about it on the podcast when it happens.
There's been a lot of chatter going around saying that Hasbro's probably going to do it anyway. Soon after they started the crowdfund, there were a lot of interviews and there were other discussions and like that came out saying that they've already been working on it for 18 months.
Marketing at San Diego Comic-Con this year, showing it's not. This isn't an experiment from them. This is something they're pushing. There's something they're going. This is something we aim to do. If you want us to do it, come on, just give us a sign. We'd like 8,000 signs, but we'll take less if that's all we're going to get. It's fine. We like money.
Look, it'd be pretty embarrassing for them having gone out so hard for the last month or so if it didn't make 8,000.
Just imagine if it was just like, yep, and we're not making it. And to all the third-party people out there, have fun with your Unicrons.
Yeah. I mean, look, so if they don't make this, they've shown a transformation video and all the third parties are going to be like, show us. How does this work? No.
That and like the
free. Can we download the high-def version of this video?
Can we get the tailor of the guy that made the suit?
Yeah. We know the label on the suit.
Then the prototypes that exist currently would suddenly be worth absolutely skyrocketed amounts.
There do seem to be quite a few prototypes out as well.
They're out there. They had several at Comic-Con. There was it's like any other product from like Hasbro Takara. When it's displayed, there's one in its alt mode and there's one not in its alt mode. So there's at least always two. Yeah.
Yeah. And look, there's the prototypes there. There's the photographs that we've got here showing actual color on it as well. There's plenty of prototypes out there as well. But yeah, no, if they don't make it, the third parties are going to just go to town and have a field day.
Yep.
Even if they do make it, who knows? Look, the one thing that I will say about the decision to make it or not make it is that Hasbro can play a bit fast and loose with the truth. So if Hasbro says they've made 8,000 pre-orders, maybe they have, maybe they haven't. They might just say that they've made enough. and that enough might not be 8,000. They might redefine what enough is. But I'm pretty confident at this point, taking international pre-orders, it's going to be enough.
Yeah, we'll see. As the Cron Wars continue.
Indeed. Let's take a moment to appreciate that last photo there.
Yes,
And
dapper transformations. That's what I want to see more of.
DAP formations.
Yes.
Let's move on. We are getting a bunch of new Siege figures coming up, including this dude. So we are looking at a repaint of Hound. He is blue and red with some yellow highlights, which makes him Hotshot.
He's Hoot-Shoot, yeah.
Yes, Hoot-Shoot.
Hoot-Shoot.
Hoot-Shoot is a Siege repaint of Hound in some really bright primary colors, and I got to say, I really quite like it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get the yellow crotch, but I don't need to get it, I guess. But I love the head sculpt. I really love this really techie head. And I mean, when was the last time we saw a modern Hotshot?
I think the last time we saw a modern Hotshot was when Hotshot was in a cartoon.
I mean, was that when it was, Armada back in the day?
I thought it was either Energon or Cybertron.
Probably either. But I mean, it's been a long while, especially been a long while for a toy. And I'll be clear, I love the Hound mold. Go for it. Use it for as many people as you want. I love it. It's such a great transformation. It does that cool leg flippy thing that I love to pieces. I would have liked to see some unique gun sculpts for him, but I'm not going to argue. It's fine. He's got good guns. They're fun.
That's fair. The thing I think is quite interesting is taking a look at his alt mode. So that in fact I've got Hound.
In Armed Breach as it was. There you go.
I do. So they haven't really remolded very much on him, but they've used a few interesting places to draw attention on the paint highlights. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
And I mean, it's just sometimes you like a baby blue Autobot.
Yeah, why not? Especially Hotshot. So Hotshot was, of course, developed, or the character was developed in. I should look at this camera. The character was developed in Armada, Energon, Cybertron, the Unicron Wars trilogy, and he was meant to be a replacement for Bumblebee because they wanted to give Bumblebee a rest.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are in 2019, and they can't get enough Bumblebee in front of anyone.
Yep. No rest for the Bumblewicked.
No rest for the bee. But Bumblebee's reascendance, I think since the 2007 movie, Bumblebee's been one of the most popular characters. So with Bumblebee's reemergence into the
pretty easy to check, Jason. Just hands up every Transformer they got a solo film.
Yes, exactly. But with Bumblebee becoming more popular, it means Hotshot has been pushed a little bit further back into the background. And as you were just saying, it's been a while since we've had a figure of the character.
And I'm cool with seeing it here in Siege because why not? Again, it's a cool mold, and just repaints don't hurt anyone.
No, but Siege has got a couple of good repaints going in it so far. So spoiler, as I said a couple of weeks ago, and let me just
spoiler alert.
Bring myself up here. Yeah. So when I said a couple of weeks ago when I picked up Red Alert that I still wanted to get a sideswipe, and so I did.
Because why not? Were they both there at the same time, and you thought, why not?
No. I had to order sideswipe off Amazon. But we'll talk a little bit more about that during.
Still all over Tassie.
Don't tell me that. I got free shipping, so it's okay.
It doesn't matter then.
So yeah, not sure what wave Hotshot is in.
I think we'll be waiting a little while. I reckon we're sort of, as the Siege carousel sort of goes around, once you start to see familiar faces again, that sort of means you've sort of reached the end of it. And we all know that Siege itself, the War for Cybertron ranges is working just like the previous ones did, in the sense that sort of it's going to be several versions. We're going to have War for Cybertron Siege, and then we'll get Snarg, and then we'll get Snuffles or something. I reckon this will be coming.
It is a trilogy.
Siege. Yeah, at the finger quote end of Siege.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe he'll come out alongside Omega Supreme.
Maybe. Supreme is due sometime in the next couple of months, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
much closer to Christmas.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Takara has released some pictures of this dude, MP48 Leo Convoy. There's some new stock images have come out this week. I don't know why I chose this photo. It does look a little bit goofy, but if you are at all familiar with Leo Convoy, the pictures will not be much of a surprise to you. However, the loading time on my laptop will be. It's taking a while to change photos.
It's not just your laptop. It's actually the photos are massive, just in case you weren't aware. I was having a look at them earlier. Every photo is like something like 8 megapixels. They haven't shrunk them down. But, I mean, for those who don't know, if you've enjoyed the old Beast Wars argument of truck, not monkey, then let's get on board with truck, not lion or monkey. So, you know, this is the more Japanese-themed Transformers Beast Wars thing. But it's like I said back when I was on the podcast when it was first shown off. God, this came out of nowhere. And, I mean, the test shot that they showed off, it looked good, but it was still obviously a test shot, very rough paint, and a lot of it was obviously very clearly painted plastic. These pictures are showing proper molded, colored plastic, and it's really clean, very clean-looking dude.
Are these pictures actually showing a model, or are they showing a CG render?
I don't think it's CG, if only because sometimes CG, they don't show screws that well.
Yeah, that's true.
Could be wrong. Yeah, it's always been a thing for me that instead of screws, they sort of show like these little sort of, I don't know, they're like little dark donuts that are supposed to represent screws, but I don't know. This guy, from the way that he's posed, like there's a couple of things that look a bit human imperfections. Like you're looking at some of his poses where like, even like when he's sort of doing this big chest burst thing, you can tell there's a bit of digital manipulation there, but like if you look at his elbow joints, like if it's done on a computer, they're usually very like perfectly angular, but you can see that he's actually got a double joint in his elbow, and you can tell that's kind of like a human sort of going, good enough. I could be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong, but you know, I'll be honest. They've started to fool me with some of their mock-ups because just the CGI models they show off are so good. It's hard to tell when they actually are taking photos of actual models.
Look, I mean, I do, mobile phone reviews and stuff, and the quality of CG renders these days is astonishing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The other thing that I think it is actually pictures is that there is another picture of him standing next to the other MP Optimus Primal, that's something that has me thinking that either they did pull over the actual model for it and then they've done a CG of both of them, or they're just going, well, here's him next to an actual figure. So, you know.
Yeah.
Could be, might not be. Who knows? Either way, looks clean, looks colorful. Definitely looks like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Sure does, doesn't it? Now, as with all of our favorite Transformers at the moment, he's on pre-order at EB Games.
Now, this is something I wanted to address, is that I have good friends who work higher up in EB Games, and they're very aware that in the past I've griped to them that there's not a lot of pre-orders or even just Transformers sold in the stores. During Titan's Returns, they just had random deluxe figures. They sold Blur. They sold Cup. Just out of nowhere. They had these, and it's like, are you going to get anything else? I'm like, we just get what we're given. But nowadays, there's actually quite a few things showing up. Obviously, MP48's now here, available for pre-order. Lovely price, $298. I mean, fair enough. That's what's happening.
But even you saw him compared to Optimus Primal.
Correct. He's a big boy. But even like the new smokescreen, not new smokescreen. Sorry, new
the smokescreen plus. Right. Yeah.
Blue Streak Plus became available to pre-order on the EB Games website. So, I mean, they had like a routine release of like movie-based masterpieces, but we're starting to see just regular masterpieces appear in the Zing store. So,
I'll tell you what's happening, right? Toys R Us is gone.
Yes.
Yeah. Toys R Us was the place that Hasbro
Jason, they're coming back.
Well, we can talk about that if you want, but I think we already have.
No, but either way, there is obviously the supply and demand. If people are understanding how it works, obviously there was a supply that went away. It means that there's a demand. And to be honest, if you've been into a Zing, you know they have a very particular brand of stuff. And the idea of sort of premium level Transformers isn't very far away from what they already sell.
No, very true. Very true. But I think also the fact is that EB is working closer with Hasbro Australia, which is probably a position that they weren't in when Toys R Us was around.
Yes. Now, the one
That's
thing I
good.
want to share, one of the favorite things I see about, obviously, it appears on the EB Games website. If you scroll down for the people reading at home, Jason, the thing that comes up directly underneath these pictures is obviously the big bold heading of "Behold, the quintessential devil in these matters." It's such an out there sort of Japanese cartoon thing to say, which is cool. Beyond that, it obviously has the contents of what's coming with these guys. And for him, you get one Leo convoy body, one Cybertron Buster, two Leo beams, 4 Leo missile, and then 1 holder parts. Now, you tell me, do you think holder parts means we're going to get a display stand?
I think so. There's 9 images. Maybe one of the images has something interesting in it.
So I mean, that's the thing. I'm drawn to either holder parts. Either is going to be some kind of display stand for him doing stuff, or perhaps it's actually coming with like some kind of little thing to hold the accessories, which I'd like. That would be cool because obviously, as figures start to have more and more accessories, which Hasbro, if you're listening, Takara, keep doing it. More stuff. I like accessories. It just becomes a pain storing them. That's why I liked it when MP Ironhide came out. His little sled accessory, you could fit pretty much all of his weapons into it.
It is nice when you can attach everything to a figure, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, when you get an ultimate gun mode or ultimate battle mode, fair enough. But when you want to put them away, it's nice not to have them, chucked in a drawer.
This is true.
Hmm.
Look, there's a lot of resealable bags in my future, but yeah.
Tupperware, kids. That's what you get at the local supermarket. Don't put food in it. Just put your plastic crack in it.
Well, we'll crack in it. All right,
that too.
Let's move on. Ash, how's your BotBots collection going?
I'll be honest. I have a 5-pack that I have not opened because it was marked down at a local Target because somebody had tampered with the packaging but had taken nothing out of it.
Oh,
and I put it away. It's literally my in case of bad day break glass scenario. In case I have a bad day, I have a suite of BotBots to jump into.
Fair enough. There is in fact a sweet amount of new BotBots coming. There's what do we go? There's seven BotBots per row. No, there's 8. Oh god, there's like
some of their names.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna bother reading some of these, but
no.
There's something like 60 or more BotBots coming in Series 3. Now, I think it's safe to say that BotBots have been pretty successful. The community seems to have embraced them.
Definitely
People enjoy them. Yeah. They're cute and they're fun, but they're like these inoffensive little things that are a few dollars for you to play with, and they transform. So, like,
absolutely,
why wouldn't you?
At this point, if BotBots are a failure, then Hasbro is doubling down on this failure and just going, "You will like them eventually. Have 800
love
of
them."
And like, even it's one of the few things where like some of the BotBots that are literally just recolors, because of the way they recolor it, I don't care. We've seen Steve from accounting. The way they recolored him is he has slightly different colors, but he gets a completely different face and therefore a completely different personality, and that means I love him.
It's true. The BotBot faces are quite distinctive, aren't they?
Yes, they're incredible, and just the names. Like, there has to be like a think tank of people at Hasbro headquarters locked in a room, hopped up on Red Bull and all kinds of other ridiculous energy things, and they're just cranking out pun after pun after pun.
Can we go back? This guy is Sweet Cheat.
Sweet Cheat.
This guy is Tangry Tart.
I just want to share that there is what appears to be a Mandarin called Triceratops.
Yeah.
It turns into a little dinosaur.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? Yeah. This one is called Wristband, as in band for life.
Yeah, wristband, and he's a digital watch.
He's a watch.
Avocado.
They're great. Look, they're great. I'm not going to go through too many more of them.
Wait, sorry. Is that a bonsai plant that turns into a dragon that's called Smurg the Sad?
Smurg the Sad. Yes.
It is. I've just seen his actual model shot. So instead of Smaug, it's Smurg the Sad.
Smurg. And he's sad.
Tree dragon.
If you were Smaug, wouldn't you be sad about now?
Right about meow. So yeah. I think I pulled away from BotBots a little bit just because I know that if I start wanting to collect all of them, Hasbro needs to stop releasing them first because I might be doing it for the rest of my life.
Collecting all of them is actually kind of annoying because there are some that only appear in like the 5 or the 8 packs.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, just don't. I
That's
haven't.
right. Just stick to a particular subset. Get the Goo Goo groupies, for example.
Yeah. I mean, you could do those. I haven't added to my BotBots collection in a while. The last ones that I got were the sneaker and the coffee machine.
Really?
The coffee machine has the amazing distinction of transforming into a dinosaur, and his name is Javasaurus Rex.
Yep.
It's great.
Love it. Loving it.
Like, that's it. That's just it. Why wouldn't
Living
you
your
love
best
this?
life. No,
it's
that's
amazing.
incredible.
Yeah, totally. So new BotBots are coming. Series 1 eventually came here. Series 2 is currently all over the place here. So we assume Series 3 will come shortly. If you are in the stores, Series 1 is red, Series 2 is green, Series 3 is a light poo brown.
Delightful.
I thought they might have gone for a brighter color, but they
I've seen
didn't.
the brown ones yet, but now you've said that, I'll be keeping an eye out. If only so I don't step in it.
Yes, no, I haven't seen them here yet, but they can't be too far away. All right, let's move on. We are getting our first look at some figures that were discussed last show, which I think was...
That's right. You thought we were done talking about
ago.
Transformers Siege. We are not done talking about Transformers Siege. There's always more.
So Siege has got a separate adjunct that has this 35th anniversary box branding. So they're not doing the character art on the side of the box, but they are instead sort of doing a big bright red theme with 35 on it.
They are still the fancy Siege boxes, though. The cool shapes there, just completely different branding. Yeah.
And so some of the coolest things that I've actually seen Hasbro announce in all of Transformersdom, and they announced a Unicron a few weeks ago, is these two figures. There is an Optimus Prime and Megatron with the distinction of them actually having a cel-shaded paint job.
Yeah, they are painted to appear like they did in the original cartoons. If you've seen some of the incredible masterpiece artworks that have been done online with people doing those cel-shaded looks, it's fantastic. And obviously the Siege range has, sort of the dings and the scratches, the battle damage. It has more paint apps than you'd usually expect, even if they are a bit wobbly. But these are nuts. These are legit figures painted to look like they did in the cartoon. And I mean, the thing I love about them is that they're based off great molds, so they're just... these are the first figures I've seen where I'd like to buy them and display them in box.
I'm happy to get these out of the box. These are a couple of figures. They are coming out. They are supposed to be coming out now, although I've had one retailer tell me that they've been pushed back to October.
Oh, really?
But their wave mates are apparently making it out in Malaysia at the moment. So it's not just these two in the wave, but these two are the most...
not just Primes and Megs, but we're also going to be getting another Voyager in the look of a good old-fashioned Sound Blaster for those who love to get your sound wave in the dulcet tones of black and red, which I have to say his chest window, electrifying in red. It's incredible. And then also at a left field, not a Voyager, but we're actually getting a figure of Blue Streak with his silver colors. Looking just like the re-release of the MP figure.
Yeah, look, I think it's no coincidence that there's a Blue Streak MP and a Blue Streak Deluxe coming out, but I think it's interesting when you look at the size of the figure inside the box. Like, they've put him in a Voyager size box.
Very clearly in the Voyager box. So you've got the big boy, big boy, big boy, and then I'm a big kid now.
Yeah. So notably with these guys, with Blue Streak and with Sound Blaster, they're not cell shaded. It's the Prime and Megatron are the animation shaded ones.
They are classic
the two
redecos, not.
They are the two that I will be seeking out from this repaint wave.
I do not have a Soundwave, and I actually kind of like black on Sound Blaster. So I mean, I was going to pick up Soundwave, but now I think I might source this instead just to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I do not have the Siege Prowl mode as it was, and I quite like a bit of Silver Streak action in my life, so I might end up getting every single one of these ones. I know. My wallet is elsewhere weeping. It's fine.
Yeah, no, the wallet's in the next room. So these guys are coming out now / in the next couple of months. So keep an eye out for them. They're very unlikely to come down under, so you might have to grab them from an importer.
Oh, yeah. I will definitely be looking online. I'm hoping that somewhere will have some kind of buy the whole set for the price of the whole set deal for me.
That seems very likely.
Mm.
Yeah. Let's move on. Last news item for the night, I think, because we are running a little bit close to time. Studio Series has done well for itself in the last 12 months. Is it 12 months? Or is it 12 months or 2 years it's been out?
I think it's been about 2 years because it came towards the end of one of the Bay movie sort of spiel going on. But I mean, Studio Series has seen quite a lot of really interesting success in the sense that obviously it sort of came out really hard pushing the movie aesthetic, and then it started to do a little bit more sort of, I guess, experimental figures with sort of lesser known characters, and some people weren't even characters in the films at all. And right when the Studio Series news had sort of it had kind of petered out, people were like, yeah, there's going to be Bumblebee movie figures and there's going to be a Devastator. What else? This news hit, and now we have this incredible array of, we've got another 2007 Camaro Bumblebee, which is like a really good looking, really clean looking figure. We've got the female bots from Revenge of the Fallen, where you had sort of like the triplets, the 3 bikes that were like RC and Chrome. I mean, they're calling it RC, Chromium, and Elita 1, but from the film, they were just called the triplets. They were called RC collectively. We have a Dark the Move Soundwave, who looks absolutely just rad. That's the only word I can call him. He's rad, and he turns into a sweet-looking Merc. He's a Mercedes, right? I'm pretty sure.
He's definitely a Mercedes. Like, he has that Merc logo front and center.
That's right. And he comes with Laserbeak, not quite, photocopy a Laserbeak. And then, just in case you missed World War II Deco Bumblebee, you can now get yourself a World War II Deco Hot Rod, which everyone prays is better than the Bumblebee, because the Bumblebee was a shell former.
You know what the problem with that is?
It looks the same.
It's the same figure.
It's exactly the same mold.
It's exactly the same.
How do they lie to me? Like, the bot mode looks okay, and you see some engineering in the legs, and I'm like, maybe it's different. But that's just me being a sucker for consumerist stuff. And the cool thing is that they've actually released not just renders, they've actually got pictures, I think, from, were they showing at Comic-Con? Either way, there's photos of the actual figures that are out. So you can actually see them in the finger quote flesh. It's plastic.
That's a little bit. That's a little bit different to the render that we saw for Bumblebee. There.
I think these don't have completed paint. If only because, like, I mean, I'm someone who actually buys Studio Series figures and I paint the parts that should be painted. These ones look less painted than normal Studio Series figures, which already, like Oliver Twist style. Please, sir, can I have some more paint?
Can I have a little bit of paint?
Just some more paint, just some silver, please. But these ones look like a little bit less painted. I think these might be test shots, but oh god, I can see Hot Rod in that picture, and sure enough, he's got a giant crab shell on his back. Oh, I'm so upset all of a sudden.
There's your triplets. Be happy.
I'm amazed that they even came out. Like, they each look like they might have a interesting transformation.
They do actually look slightly different. Chromia, the blue one in the middle. So RC's tires both form.
Correct. They both form her finger quote legs.
Just answer me this: is RC actually the lamp from the Pixar logo? How else does she move around?
Well, that's the whole point, Jason. You see, in the film, for a brief second, she was on some wheels, and then she died. Hello, number one RC fan here.
Maybe she died because she couldn't move.
Maybe the animators just went, "We can't work with this. I'll kill her in the next scene. It's fine."
They do all look slightly different. You are correct.
Yeah, and the neato thing is that the girls actually come in a 3-pack. Because
they are 1-pack, so it'll probably be either Voyager or Leader price.
Yeah, I reckon that'd be safe. But yeah, very interesting, and just a lot. It means that, like, when people thought everyone thought that Studio Series was starting to peter off and possibly wrap up. Maybe we're going to get like a different version of Studio Series. We're going to get a Studio Series Devastator just to sign off on the wave, and we're going to finish with a couple of Bumblebee figures, and then we're going to get something else. And then this happens. It's like Hasbro Takara went, nah. We're going to start going back to 2007. And there's other stuff we haven't even done, like Soundwave. Like, we haven't had a Studio Series Soundwave.
Studio Series has always hopped around the films a lot. And I think that's one of its strengths, is that it sort of draws from the film universe rather than sort of moving chronologically through them. So I kind of expect that. Like, we were all really excited when Soundwave finally appeared in Dark of the Moon, was it? Or
yep.
It was
He was.
He was a satellite in Revenge of the Fall.
Ravage got more screen time, and then in
Yeah. So like we were all pretty excited when Soundwave came out there. Hot Rod is from the most recent, the last night, 2007 Camaro.
He was in Revenge of the Fallen. That's when he was a satellite. Dark of the Moon is when he was a Merc. Sorry, I just know that one person is going to comment and go, "Hey," and I'm like, I know, I was wrong, but I've corrected myself.
Yeah, no, but that's what I said. But yeah,
at this point, he's probably already going to have messaged me because he hasn't finished listening to the podcast yet. Hi, Corey.
That's possible. So anyway, World War II Bumblebee from the last night. Bumblebee, Hot Rod, whatever. It's the same figure anit
Yep. Someone out there likes
Studio Series jumps around, and one of the strengths of it is that it picks out some characters you might not otherwise expect. And so, like, if you don't like one release, just wait for the next one.
Yep, absolutely. And I don't know about you, I'm definitely getting that Soundwave.
I am not, but that's okay. You're allowed to.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah. Couple of quick stories before we finish things off. Unique Toys has released some color prototype photos of their last night Megatron. Megatron is one of the best figures of the last night, and the design of the character in the last night was fantastic. So it is really good to see some third party action on this figure. And of course, Unique Toys seems to make movie style figures that have bizarrely good transformations and hide a lot of robot kibble. That jet mode looks quite clean, despite being clearly a transformer. But look at what it turns into.
It's so weird. Like, I always want to know how they managed to do this, because you've seen some of their Optimus Primes as well.
Oh yeah.
You see the alt mode next to the bot mode, and then in between is just black magic. Absolutely. But then you actually see it happen, and it's not that hard. They're not doing ridiculous mind-bending, fingernail-ripping, digit-destroying stuff. Once you start, you're like, oh, it makes sense. Turns inside out.
Totally does.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the only reason that I am not at this moment covered in filth, walking on the main street going, Dark Knight was terrible, the last night was also terrible, is because of the Megatron design.
Pretty much, yeah. It was just an especially strong robot mode, and it was fantastic.
It was interesting. It wasn't overly busy and silly. It was voiced by Frank Welker, and it was just cool. Like, I mean, it was Megatron with a big sword. He was grumpy. It was good. He still had an arm cannon. It was nice. I didn't even care that he just mysteriously became Megatron again after being Galvatron. It was fine.
I mean, like, it wasn't fine, but it's okay.
It doesn't keep you up at night at all.
No.
Cool.
All right. Couple of quick bits of news in brief to round us out. Hallmark has released one Transformers ornament, but you might want to buy two, because there's also an Ecto 1 this year. And if you've purchased Ectotron, you can probably sneak a second Hallmark ornament into your Christmas assortment. So it's a G1 Bumblebee for Hallmark this year, and he looks just like he looks like the G1 reissue, actually, because he's got the cartoon face.
But correct me, does he actually transform?
No, they're
he's just designed to look like he's in Bob mode. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's for the kids at Christmas.
Exactly. They go on the Christmas tree. That's all.
Okay. So I'm all right with it. He's been deactivated.
So these don't come to Australia. If you want them, you're going to have to get them off eBay. They're not especially hard to get, but some of the older ones, like they have done a Prime, they've done a Starscream, and I think Soundwave in the past. So yeah.
Yes, they have.
So there we go. WizKids is releasing paintable miniatures at $5 a piece. So if you want to get your paint on and try to figure out how G1 Transformers should look, you can pick up these at your local WizKid dealer. I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, WizKids has been popping up at a lot of hobby shops for me. The same kind of place where you'd go and pick up your Dungeons and Dragons miniatures, you'll probably find this kind of stuff. And the prices are reasonable. And I mean, like, obviously the 3D renders always look a little bit better than the figures do, but the figures are so cheap, and because they're effectively modeling, they're modeling doovers, so it means that you can usually clean them up a bit, whip out your hobby knife, get rid of some bad edges and clean them up. But I already paint Transformers. I might as well just paint a model Transformer. And I mean, Do we know how big they are? Because I mean, miniatures. Obviously, the key word there is miniature. So, are these like 32 mils? Are they
No, we don't know.
large, small, large?
They're
Don't know.
$5, so $5 US. I don't expect them to be very large. Like I would say they're probably smaller than the
Similar
Legends,
stuff you
maybe
use
about
kids
the
for
same
around
size.
that price is in the 32 mil range. So, these guys are probably, about the size of a roller film, maybe.
Fair enough.
If
All
you
right.
remember what that is, kids.
No one knows what that is, Ash.
Yeah, shut up, Grandpa. Fair enough.
All right. Lastly, very quick. 3A is shutting down, and they have a related company that everything is moving to called 30. So if you saw something from 3A that you wanted, then it's probably going to come from 30. And honestly, I don't really know what the difference between the two of them is. They both got 3 and a letter after them.
If a store called 3A is shutting down, but they say it's okay because our business will continue under 30, what's actually happening? Is it a rebrand?
So according to the wall of text that is on my screen, I'm going to read this off TFW. 3A was a joint collaboration between Ashley Wood, the artist, and Kim Fong Wong. They originally created toys based on the worlds and art of Ashley Wood. Kim eventually joined a sister company, created a sister company 30 to manufacture non-Ashley products. They were running side by side for a while, but due to the ins and outs of the licensing deals over time, 3A also got into producing items that were not created by Ashley Wood, including Transformers. Yawn, Ashley Wood has announced that 3A is shutting down, and so he's handing everything over to 30.
Huh. Fairly straightforward.
It's pretty
some interesting stuff. I mean, they did mostly statues, did they not?
They do. So 3A are responsible for the 3A are responsible for the Bumblebee.
The thing I remember recently was the big Blitzwing figure that they did. That was 3A, right? Yeah, and I think it was
they are quite good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But my understanding is that it's essentially the same creative team behind it. It's just going to have a different logo on it.
Fair enough. I mean, that's happened to me before.
Yeah.
I got a cream; it cleared right up.
And that is it as far as news goes for the week. On that bombshell, we're going to come back for a quick discussion. It's time to talk acquisitions. Ash, have you got anything new in the last few weeks? It's been a while since we've had you on.
I have indeed. In fact, I mean, I haven't been buying big. I haven't been buying extravagant. I actually had a friend of mine down here in the little island of Tasmania. Obviously, we sort of have the north and the south. For the north, if you go up the coast, you stop at a couple of cities, and each of them have a Toy World or a Target or something, things like that. The beautiful thing about Toy World in Launceston is that it has current stuff. You go up the coast to Devonport, they have older stuff, and then you go to Burnie, and they have ancient stuff. But a mate of mine managed to pick up Wheelie from Titans Returns.
Oh my god! So Wheelie, I actually just positioned my Wheelie on the shelf today.
Yeah, and he literally sent me a picture of the shelf, and I was like, "Is that Wheelie?" And he's like, "Yep." And I'm like, "I'll take it," because I heard a lot of really good things. People saying that he had a really interesting transformation, and he does for a car bot. He's actually quite nifty. A lot of cool stuff, like the windshield chest flips up and around. His legs are really nifty. They completely fold out in the front of the car in a really different way than you usually expect from a car bot. And he's a nice little deluxe figure, and I love him very, very much. Then something is slightly more modern. I actually picked up one of the newer. I think these guys are like Siege Wave 3 or something, but it's Brunt.
It's a Brunt. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, except with the, I guess, I mean, if you're watching, obviously my webcam's made him blue for some reason, even though he's usually a delicious.
I was wondering this when you lifted him up.
Yeah, yes, I've modded him, snort. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't big on COG. Just I mean, he was interesting, but like I wasn't on board with parts-based transformations yet. Like, then I got Six Gun. I was like, when it's designed to be a parts former, you can't be mad about it. It's supposed to work that way. And then I got Brunt, and I love him. The way that he works is just groovy. He's big, he's thick. He obviously looks like a baddie from Beast Machines. I dig it. You might also notice that my Brunt has something a little extra on his shoulder. So, I mean, if you're familiar with Brunt, obviously he's one of those explodey bits. But this actually comes courtesy of a good friend of mine who's actually doing some 3D resin printing. His company is called Empire 3D. I hope I got that right. And what he's actually doing at the moment is he's creating some additional parts for different figures that have been released over the last couple of waves. And I've actually got these because I'm cleaning them up and I'm going to paint them up for test shots. But we've got things like we've got Grimlock's sword because Grimlock in the last release didn't come with a big, lovely sword, and for the Dinobots, slightly bigger, slappier swords as well. So I'm going to be painting up Brunty's gun. It's actually got a little joint on it. So
he's got a bit of a hinge on it as well because Brunt's 5mm peg hole is in the back. Yeah.
Correct. So it actually hinges on like that, and you can obviously when it's like this, it actually can be used as a regular gun in the hand. But he doesn't really have hands, kids. He's got giant meaty claws. But yeah, I mean, he looks like a dude who should be covered in guns. So another gun's not going to hurt anybody. So I'm going to enjoy painting those up, and I'm going to enjoy posting pictures in the Transformers Collectors Club Australia Facebook. So yeah, as far as new acquisitions, good times.
So will Empire be selling these online?
At the moment, the thought is yes, provided that they keep coming out of the, because like I said, it's actually a 3D resin print. You can see that's sort of a very standard Dinobot sword. Very clean, very nice. The same with the big sword for Old Mate Grimlock. This is with minimal cleanup. They come out very nice. Each one is effectively handmade, not super expensive to produce, and just lick a paint and off you go. So yeah, he's exploring other options. It's one of those cool things about my favorite part of third party is when you're plugging holes in figures. Like, this guy didn't come with a gun, or this guy didn't come with a sword, and nothing's been available. So
not literally plugging holes like the gap fillers,
3mm plug holes.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but like actually just
You mean like the upgrade for
missing accessories?
It literally comes with filler for his parts.
No, cool. Like there's an industry in fillers at the moment, and like I don't particularly agree with it, but it is what it is.
Do you actually mean like when there's like hollow parts on a figure, there's like a part that slots in? Yeah. I've seen the upgrade kit for Ironhide. The part that interests me is that it comes with a slight hip upgrade just to give him a bit more width, which is cool. It doesn't affect his transformation, but then the rest of it is literally just you can shove this in his wrist so they're not empty anymore, and put this in the back of his legs and add a bit more detail. I'm like, why am I paying the same price I paid for the figure to upgrade it minimally? But not everything's for everyone. But yeah, hingy brunt gun is probably my favorite part, and lick a paint.
I quite like that.
Yeah, I mean, even if I hold it slightly closer to the camera for the people that are watching, it's got a really cool sort of sci-fi end to it. It's got side detail, and like it comes hinged. Like it's a gun, it's a shoulder gun. Like it's everything I love about little fiddly Transformer bits. I just can't wait to paint this. And I'm not sure how to paint it yet. I kind of want to, because he has his little sort of stack on his back that's a bit sort of Galvatron orange. I don't know whether I want to paint the front of this orange or whether I want it to be sort of purple and silver like his claws. Don't know. I reckon I'm going to stare at it intently and then just make a snap decision, because that's how I work.
That sounds like a good, cool, and normal way of doing things.
Yeah, just procrastinate until you just have to get it done, and then just
procrastinate until you can't procrastinate no more. I
know you've picked up stuff, and I want to see.
Picked up a couple of things. As I showed earlier in the show, got myself a Siege Sideswipe. He is one of the goodest boys that I've seen in the range. I'm
surprised I haven't picked one up yet, because again, they're all over Tasmania.
Yeah, that is weird. Especially given the figure's reputation as just being one of the best. Like, he has a really nice, solid figure. He doesn't need any fillers in the back of his legs or anything like that. But really, really happy with him. I did pick up a Siege Reflector, but he's actually out in the other room.
You mean Refractor?
Yes, I did. I picked up a single Refractor.
You didn't pick up his two friends?
I didn't, because I'm gonna get the 3-pack with the G1 colors that they announced at SCCC. I've got a little box of stuff from Amazon, which is where Sideswipe came from as well. It's got the missing Micromasters.
Is that Flak? Flak and Top Shot? No, I can't see them.
So there's Road Handler there.
Road Handler.
Road Handler is a particular favorite of mine. Like I was just really fond of his original G1 Micromaster. So fond I've dropped it.
So nice you yeeted him.
Yes. Yes, there are the what are their names? I I know these guys. G1 incarnation is better, but yep, there we go. Where am I putting this? There we go.
So what, are you telling me that's not Top Shot and Flak?
I don't know what they're called.
Do they turn into the missile?
Yes. He's got the missile launcher feet. Yes.
Yeah. No,
So
they're very.
I don't know which one's which. And
Tangent. Are you excited for the big mini MicroMaster pack that they showed off at SDCC?
it's already posted on its way to me from Hong Kong.
There you go. Yes, I saw that. I was like, yes, I must have it.
I'm
Tiny
totally
little piece of plastic that want to break.
And of course, the little Decepticon planes as well. So these guys combine into like a swordish kind of thing.
Really dorky sword, but it's my favorite kind of sword.
Dorky swords are the best kind of sword. That is correct. So yeah, that's my new acquisitions. When I get back from TF Nation, there will be a Ghostbuster Prime waiting for me. There will be a Generation Select Galactic Man waiting for me, and a Micromasters 10 pack.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I want to be on the podcast when you take out your Micromasters because they're so nice.
They are. Look, they're nice.
It's like Micro Machines, but Transformers. That's the way I see them, and that's why I love them.
It's kind of the way that I felt about the updates to Headmasters in Titans Return and stuff. Right? Is that they're the same? They're exactly the same as they ever were, but now they're just a little bit more detailed. So instead of a bolt on the arm, so they only move forward, they've got a ball joint, so they can move a little bit around. But they can
do a bit of, but not tons of wobbly.
Yeah, they can change. They can move a bit, and in general, like what ends up happening is like with Road Handler, right? You put a slight bit of pressure on him the wrong way, and suddenly everything goes wonky, and off he goes.
Yeah, and those legs love to come off too, because I've got the blackjack.
They really fucking do, don't they?
Maybe in the future, Jason, 30 years from now, when they just keep re-releasing the same things over and over again, and we get new Titan Masters, if I'm going to do it, I have to do it the Transformers. So like, in the distant future, they now have elbows.
The Transformers have developed elbows.
The Micromasters have elbows in the constant war against the Decepticons.
And maybe they will. Yeah, maybe they will.
We might have micro joint technology at that point. Everything's just made out of nano machines. Who knows? 30 years from now, I'll probably still be collecting Transformers, but at that point, my daughter will have been grown up and say, Dad, you need to stop.
Your daughter will be coming and going, Dad, you need to stop doing the podcast and come talk to your granddaughter. Yeah.
That's all right. We'll be beaming live out of our brains at that point.
That's true. That is about it. It is time to end the podcast. We have run a little bit long. It is time to end the show. On the TCCA business front, memberships are being shipped out, and the July winner of the giveaway will be sent out along with nominations for club management positions for the next year.
Politicking, aren't we, to start nominating your state reps and the people that you want to be repping you?
Figure out who is, figure out if you want to represent your own state, I think is the point. And look, state reps are responsible for a few things, but not too much. So, like, if you're gonna attend Supernova with a table, you'll probably have to figure out how to get some stuff in, recruit some help, and just organize an occasional meetup here and there.
The table,
yeah,
just at least
figure out what to put on the table as well. Also helps.
Exactly.
All right. Although, look, to be fair, we're probably not attending Supernova that much this year because they charge us too much money to do so. But we are looking for some smaller community events. So, like, if you've got some events coming up around you, then let us know as well. You don't have to be a state rep to attend them. If you're happy to fly the flag, we're happy to send the flag. And there are literal flags that we can.
Literal flags. I know. I've got one. I'm looking at it right now.
You're actually responsible for them.
I'm the flag man. Yes, I am.
Yes, you are.
And yes, because of that, there has been a request by some people for another order of flags. So please keep an eye on the TCCA page, because I think the way we're going to do it this year is I'm just going to take everyone's orders and we're just going to bulk them. We're just going to do a big one, not lots of little big ones.
Sounds like a good idea. All right, that's it. End of the show. Thank you for listening. If you are watching along with the live record, thanks for checking us out. We have actually been having quite a lot of fun on this record. We've been using new technology called StreamYard, who have taken over from Hangouts on Air for our production side of things, and I would say it's actually working pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it.
pretty brilliant. It actually feels a lot more like I'm on television, which makes it a slightly more daunting endeavor. But
Wait. We can make it
Wait.
look a little bit more like you're on television.
Ready?
If we zoom us
There we
in,
go.
so you can see our full. Yeah, there you go. So
Right. So I mean, obviously, if you're listening to the podcast, just imagine something really cool happened. But otherwise, if you're watching from home, hey, more stuff in frame.
yes, yeah, more stuff is in frame, and yeah, it's easier for us to swap camera angles, and we can keep ourselves on screen while the big stories are hitting on the video. Hopefully, it might actually make the video a little bit more engaging as well, so you can watch along with the video on YouTube. See how we go.
Yeah, that I'll just keep watching my eyebrows when I'm talking because they have the mind of their own.
All right. So thank you for listening. If you all want to find out more about these stories, you will find links to them all and more in the show notes posted to the Transformers Weekly Facebook page and the Podbean site, and probably linked from the YouTube video as well. If you want to get in touch with us, you'll find us all in the Transformers Collectors Club Australia page on Facebook, and the podcast's Facebook page is, of course, Australian Transformers Weekly. If you're not subscribed, find us in the podcast section on iTunes, Pocket Casts, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, any other streaming service that has a podcast thing. You'll probably find it in there. We are a production of Transformers Collectors Club Australia, a registered club in Victoria run by volunteers who donate their time and money and Saturday nights to make the club and the podcast better for everyone. Our goal is to connect Transformers fans around the country. We do it by engaging the collecting community. And that's where we go out and attend shows and meet other Transformers fans and get them to come and join us. You can find out more information, including affordable yearly membership options, starting at $5 at transformerscca.com. All right. That is it from us. We'll be back with more Transformers news next week. I won't be back, though, because, well, I will be back eventually. I won't be back next week because I'll be at TF Nation. So I might be off for a couple of
things to do other Transformer things. That's it.
I am dropping Transformer things so that I can do Transformers things. Yeah. But yeah, look, like I said, I'll try to record a little bit of content. I did think that I might try to record a little bit of content last year, and it did not go so well. So
that's right. As someone who's been to San Diego Comic-Con several times, and each time said, "Yeah, I'll produce content when I'm there," and I get like 2 videos. It's like me going, "Look at everything, guys," then I'm done.
Suddenly, the content is lines of SDCC.
Nobody wants to see me standing somewhere for 40 minutes complaining about how my ankles hurt. But yeah, you'll see me in 2020 when I go back to San Diego Comic-Con, and I'll pretend to make content then as well. How's that sound?
That sounds good. I'm gonna hit the end broadcast button, and people will join you next week and take you through all of the important Transformers news, and I'll join back in a couple of weeks' time. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.